Lesson 88, surface area of a solid. A solid is a three-dimensional figure that is formed by polygons. And in this case, in this first page, we have two prisms. The prisms have two bases that are parallel, and then the lateral faces are all rectangles. In this first one, we have a rectangular prism. Since all the faces are rectangles, this formula is only for rectangular prisms. Surface area of a rectangular prism, let's say. So first, let's put here that this is the height, this is the width, and this is the length. If this is the front, this is the top, and this is the side, notice that we have another side, we have a bottom, and we have a back. So each one of these faces that I just named has also an opposite one on the other side. And so what I want to do is find the area of the top plus the area of the side plus the area of the front. And since all of them have two of them, I'm just going to multiply that times 2. So it's very, very simple. For the top, we are going to multiply the width times the length. For the side, is the width times the height. And for the front is the length times the height. Notice how we just multiply everything times everything. We just multiply all of them. And then after we add them, we multiply times 2. We are going to multiply 3 times 8 plus 3 times 2 plus 8 times 2. And that would be 24 plus 6 plus 16, that if I add that, the answer is going to be 46. And 46 times 2 is 92. So the surface area of this rectangular prism is 92 square units. And that's it. And again, we're going to learn about a general formula for prisms. But whenever you have a rectangular prism, which is kind of like the shape of the most common boxes, a cereal box, a milk box, then use this formula. Just find the area of each one of the faces and add them together and then multiply times 2. All right, the next shape that we have here, the next solid, is a triangular prism. And we know that because the bases are triangles. Notice that this base and this base are parallel to each other, and they are the only ones that are not rectangles. The other ones are rectangles, and the lateral faces are always rectangles. Okay, so let's look at first the general formula. The general formula, I'll put it here, for the surface area of any prism is 2 times the area of the base plus the lateral area. Now, what is the lateral area? Well, it's the perimeter of the base times the height, capital H. In this case, the height is the 10. Height is always the distance between the two bases. So let's use this formula that I just gave you and that you should have in a formula sheet to find the area, the surface area of this triangular prism. So again, we're going to have 2 times the area of those triangles plus the perimeter of those triangles times the height. Very simple, very, very simple formula. So let's do it. Now, you guys know that the triangle, the area for the triangle, is going to be base times height. Now, notice that height is lowercase, divided by 2. So let's find what is the base and what is the height. The 3 is our base, and the 4 is our lowercase h. Notice how important it is that you don't get confused with these things, because it's different to have the height of the triangle than to have the height of the solid. They're very different things, and that's why we put them with a lowercase h and a capital H. And then plus the perimeter. So what is the perimeter? Is the height plus the base plus the hypotenuse. Let me put it like that. And then all of that times the h. So if we substitute the values, we're going to get 3 times 4 divided by 2. And then we're going to add those sides. So it's 4 plus 3 plus 5 times the height, which in this case is 10. And to simplify that, then we just have to multiply and divide. In this case, we're going to have 12 plus, and that is 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 5 is 12, times 10 is 120. Remember, we do this, the simplification of these parentheses, but then we multiply times 10. And then we add plus 12. We do PEMDAS. First the multiplication and then the addition. So our surface area is going to be 132. And again, we don't have the units, so let's say square units. And that's it. That is our answer. So please write this formula in your formula sheet and also this formula in your formula sheet. Now we have a cylinder. Remember that a cylinder has two bases that are circles, and then the lateral face is just one continuous face. So we're going to write first the general formula. Now you might think, teacher, that's exactly the same as the one for prisms. Well, yes, but now we have to use the formulas for the circles. So what is the formula for the area of a circle? Well, you guys know it's radius squared pi. And what is the perimeter of a circle? Well, the perimeter of a circle is the circumference, and the formula for circumference is 2r pi. So this is the general formula for a cylinder, a circular cylinder. So make sure you write also that one in a formula sheet. If we substitute the values, we're going to get 5 for the radius, so 5 squared pi, plus the circumference is going to be 2 times 5 times pi, times the height, which in this case is 10. Again, notice that the height of the solid is the distance between the two bases. Same thing as in the prism. Now we're going to multiply the 2 times the 25 pi, and then here we have 10 pi times 10. Again, remember, order of operation tells us to do multiplication first and then addition. So we have 50 pi plus 100 pi. And because both of them have pi, we can add them, and the answer is going to be 150 pi. And again, units square. Now in this one, we have a combination. It's not a circular cylinder. So we're going to go to the formula that is very general. So let's start by finding the area of the base. And we can do it here on the side, or if you have space, just do it here carefully. So we're going to multiply 2 times the area of the base. So what is the area of the base? Well, this is the base. That shape is this that is here, the top or the bottom of that cylinder. That cylinder is not a regular circular cylinder. Notice that it has a rectangle and a semicircle. But we're going to find the same. So we're going to find the area of that rectangle plus the area of that semicircle. Okay? So what are the dimensions? Well, notice that if the radius is 2, then this is also 2 because that's also a radius. And this is also 2 because that's also a radius. So this dimension is 4. So the area of the rectangle is 8 by 4. For the semicircle, we're going to use the radius 2 square pi, but it's only half of a circle, so we're going to divide by 2. The area of the base, in this case, is 32 plus 4 divided by 2 is 2 pi. So I'm going to put here 32 plus 2 pi, which is what we just found. Now for the perimeter, what we want to do is add. So let's put here the perimeter of the base. Remember, work in order and you won't have any problems. So to find the perimeter, we want to add all of the sides. We want to add these 8, 4, and 8. So I'll put that 8 plus 4 plus 8. And notice that now we have a semicircumference here, which we learned before that the answer is just going to be 2 pi. The radius, pi. That is the formula for half of a circumference. Now here we can only do like terms, so it's 20 plus 2 pi, We cannot add that anymore, so we leave it like that. That's the perimeter. And that's what I'm going to put here, 20 plus 2 pi. Now the height in this case is again 10. Notice that's the height, capital H. The distance between the two bases, that's 10. And again, we're going to continue here simplifying. So we do distributive property because we can't simplify the parentheses anymore. So we have 64 plus 4 pi. And then on the other side, I also want to do distributive property. So that's 200 plus 20 pi. And now we can do like terms. So 64 plus 200 is 264. And then 4 pi plus 20 pi is 24 pi. And that is our answer. Again, units squared because it's area. Remember, surface area is the same as area. It's just the sum of the area of all the faces in the shape. So that's it. Make sure you work in order and you use the formulas. If you use the formulas, you won't have any problems. If you just try to do it by your logic and by what you see, you might get confused or forget something. So use the formulas. You can use the formula sheet. Write all these formulas in your formula sheet so you can use them when you're doing these exercises. All right, I'll see you in the next video.